Karuna Shanti Ricorvani Larnavani Continua Gracia Shanti E nacen veranu paraliza verdi E ves miserere cordium.
Arthur looked as if he'd been hit by a train. How could we have missed the fact that it wasn't Golgotha's? He asked the Aeon Gadriel. The king of the light within the spirit of Gadriel thought for a moment. He was masked by that armor. It's enchanted and covers anyone from discovering the truth behind who he is, his thoughts and his words. Merlin suddenly thought of something. So we don't even know who we're looking for because we don't know what he looks like. Merlin said with astonishment. The king of the light bent his head to the side and said, "Well, it shouldn't be too hard to find him. He's big and tall and scary looking. How could we miss him?" He said assuredly, Aliana then said, "So you're traveling with us now?" The king of the light said, "Well, yes, if my friends are going into battle, then I'm not about to just stand by and watch." And with that, Gadriel flicked her wrist and a unicorn appeared made of pure light. I won't take no as a response, so where to? Arthur just looked at Merlin, and Merlin rolled his eyes. "Well, if you must know, sire, we are caught in a jam. On one hand, our friends are most likely trapped somewhere. If Golgotha's hit Arthur's father so well, then we must assume that they weren't his manifestations, which is why I didn't disappear." The king of the light looked troubled. If he can mask stuff like this from my knowledge, then he is a very cunning adversary. Merlin continued, "On the other hand, we must stop Golgotha's now before he reaches the dragon, or our problems will multiply severely." The king looked up and said, "Lucifer, I have a task for you." An angel fell from the sky and left a small dust cloud not far in the distance. Suddenly a shimmer of light appeared and took the form of a rather large, well-built angel with long black hair. "How may I help you?" he asked with a reverence of respect. The king of the light spoke. "This is the angel of the light, Archangel Lucifer." Lucifer just looked amusingly at Merlin and Aliana and said, "Look, I explained to your sages. No treasure can purchase my services. For your people, I thought I explained to them the concept of time and that I come from too far away, across many setting suns. So your treasures just don't have any value to me." Merlin looked at Aliana, and she had an astonished expression on her face. That's exactly what the warrior of the light had said to the sages. He's barely aged. She looked closer. "Wait, I know him." She suddenly shook with the sudden realization. "Tristan!" Lucifer looked over to her. "Do I know you?" he asked. She looked at him furiously. "I know you haven't forgotten me, have you?" Lucifer looked at her for a moment. "Aliana," he said at first. "Madam," he said, acknowledging her royalty. The king of the light asked, "You know this fairy?" The archangel Lucifer said, "Yes, I was once her guardian when I lived among them in their era." The Lord looked intrigued. "Interesting. Ah, I see. Until her father sent you to the outskirts at the Megiddo outpost." Lucifer looked nervously away. "Yes, so what can I do for you?" he asked. The Lord explained, "I need you to locate her friends, one named Chaos Pan, and I need you to be ready for a possibly possessed man, bewitched by spellcraft." The archangel stood at the ready. "Okay, go for it." And with that, the king of the light simply lifted his hand, and a swirling mass of clouds appeared as a shadowed form of a man walked first from the clouds, and then out of the armor he was wearing as it fell off piece by piece. Other Pendragon stood there for a moment, and then collapsed. Arthur rushed to his side, and Merlin told him, "It's no good, lad. He died a long time ago in battle with him. That was just an animated body used to work your weaknesses." He told him. Arthur got up and said, "You're right. This is all a distraction. We must hurry." Lucifer said, "I'll find Pan and Chaos and I'll send them to you when I succeed." With that, Lucifer blinked out from view. Then suddenly he reappeared and took Aliana's hand as he kissed the top of it. "It was good seeing you two again." Then suddenly vanished. Aliana just replied, "Oh my!" As Merlin stood there silently demanding answers, she snapped out of her daze and said, "Okay, prepare for battle. I'm opening the portal to the Amord Gate." And the gateway into a rocky terrain appeared before them. They traversed through and stood before the entrance to a canyon pass. Arthur stood there, and Merlin asked, "Okay, boy, what next?"
Arthur replied. Now, we need Saint Germain. Have you heard of him? Merlin just looked at him impatiently. What do you mean? Of course Suddenly Gabriel walked from behind a boulder. Yes, young Arthur, how can I help? He said before saying excitedly, I knew it. You know this boy too. I knew it. The Lord just smiled. Calm down.
Gabriel asked again, what Arthur needed. And Arthur said, exactly where did you bury Sinjad in this canyon? And Gabriel said far to the north near the borders of Russia. Arthur asked if he could take them straight there quickly, and Gabriel agreed, opening a portal before them. As they stepped onto the plateau that opened up at the edge of the canyon, Arthur could see a cavern that was on the other side of the plateau Gabriel pointed. There is the entrance to the lost city of Petra, where we chained the dragon's body to the earth. They scrambled across the field, but before they reached the entrance, a silhouette stepped into view from the cavern. It was Golgothos. Well, boy, you're more clever than I gave you credit for. The question is, was it in time, Gabriel? And the Lord instantly took to flight to get the high advantage, and Aliana and Merilyn transported to each side of him, leaving the battle clear between Arthur and Golgothos. So here it is. You've been such a disappointment, Arthur. Here I thought you would accept my offer. Arthur scoffed. If you think that I would ally myself with the thing that killed my father, you're stupid. Golgothos quickly flung a dagger at Arthur, but he simply blocked it with a swipe of his sword without changing the pace of his step. Storm clouds began to gather overhead as cracks of lightning flashed across the sky. You underestimated your opponent, and if you underestimated that much, then it's quite possible you underestimated the outcome of this battle. Pillars of flaming tornadoes appeared in his eyes as sparks of lightning flew forth from his eyes. Now you shall know what it is like to stand against me. Behind him, a mystical glyph pattern began to take form with a series of circles rotating around it. In one circle, a symbol would appear, and a blast of elemental force would come flying towards Golgothos. First, a blast of ice, which Golgothos blocked with a spell. Then a column of fire appeared from another symbol that appeared from this glyph pattern. Then a blast of water. Then a series of pebbles. These rotated in succession as Arthur began to charge towards Golgothos. The Dark One saw Arthur at the last second and blocked his strike. Give it up, boy, you can't defeat me. Do you have any idea how many warriors I've killed in battle? And a force of unseen power blasted forth from Golgothos, flinging Arthur backwards. He reached out with both hands and seized hold of the Lord, Gabriel, Aliana, and Merlin at the same time as he whipped the two angels around before slamming them on top of Aliana. And Merlin, Arthur, took advantage of the moment and flew at Golgothos, sword extended. The Dark One simply let go of holding back the two angels and sidestepped, letting them all come crashing into each other. Then he vanished. Arthur picked himself up as he asked, where did he go? The ground started to rumble. You think you even know what you're standing up against. The air echoed with his laughter. You think that Singe was my general. No, Singe was my true form. The voice of Golgothos faded with the echoes of it. Then a low guttural growl replaced it, and I have returned. Suddenly the ground gave way underneath them as Aliana quickly teleported them back to the entrance of the canyon near the gate of the Amorites. A large reptilian-like creature flew up from the rubble. Taking to the skies, the dragon flew up into the sky and spotted his target near the canyon entrance. You, he said as he spotted the Most High. You're the last thing I remembered going after before my disappearance into that abyss. The dragon circled the sky above them. Just as he was about to begin his descent, Lucifer appeared next to them with Pan, and a wisp of clouds enveloped Merilyn as it seeped into him. Merilyn exclaimed, Chaos! Arthur was astonished. I thought you banished them. The Lord looked at him and said, a good and humble king is always prepared for the possibility of being wrong. By my command they were banished, and by my command they return. Then he said, now altogether let us build a wall he cannot penetrate. The Lord said as he poured forth his power, Merilyn and Chaos did the same. same as did Aliana, and Arthur poured forth all he had from the sword. Together the combined forces blasted forth from the group and slammed against the dragon in mid-flight, causing him to drop from the sky like a rock. The dragon picked himself up, stumbling in a daze from the impact. Arthur stood unsure. "So what do we do now?" he said. Suddenly Arthur leaped forth from the side of a mountain. Singe was passing by. "Come here, you bloody twit. Try and kill me, you rotten lizard. I'll make a trophy out of a head and hang it over the door to my latrine." He yelled as he struggled to plant his sword into his body, but the blade just snapped from the hard density of the dragon's scales.
Singe swung his head to the side, and Arthur's father went flying towards the mountainside. Gabriel rushed and caught Uther before he hit the rock's surface. "I got you," he said as they glided towards safety. Singe began charging towards them. Arthur looked at Gabriel and nodded. "Aliana, transport me right in front of him." She looked at him. "Are you mad?" she said. Arthur yelled, "Just do it quickly." Aliana transported Arthur right in front of the dragon. The beast kept charging and ran right over Arthur as he lifted his sword up into his gut, splitting him all the way to his tail. Aliana saw her role to play here and pulled the trifecta spear out, squinted her eyes and flung the spear with precision, flicking the switch as she let it go. The blades locked into place as it flew through the air and plugged into Singe's exposed belly. The dragon stumbled over his front feet and slid into the ground face first. "Now how do we make sure he stays that way?" And Pan answered, "Just like you would a vampire, lad. Make sure you stake the heart firmly." And he used his magic to fuse the spear to the dragon's heart. The Lord said, "No, there is a better way. Turn your eyes and do not look at the light." They turned away as a flash of bright light came down from the skies and struck the dragon, turning it to a pile of ash that blew away with the desert wind. Arthur turned back around after the light had faded. "Where did it go?" And the Lord replied, "It is no more. Never shall it bother the living again." He looked at Arthur. "You are a very brave king, my lad, and you have a good heart. May your kingdom last until the earth too returns from the dust from where it came." And with that, the King of Light vanished. The group teleported back to the Fey Council room, weary from the battle. Arthur proclaimed, "We have defeated the Dark One. Never again shall he trouble anyone ever again." The news spread quickly across the Fey and Pixie Kingdom with cheers of joy and celebration. The children all danced circles around Pan and wreathed him with twigs they had twisted together as laurels, proclaiming him the children's hero, singing about how the heart of the satyr beast in the forest is as pure as the rain. Merilyn looked at Arthur and asked, "What now, my liege?" Arthur sat back and said, "Well, now we go in search of the righteous men and rebuild my father's kingdom with them by my side." Merilyn said, "You know, I heard of a man of this caliber fighting for the innocent in small villages. A man by the name of Lancelot. Maybe we should go and seek him." He said with certainty, but Arthur said, "First, I need a bath because I'm still covered in dragon guts and it's starting to smell really bad." They laughed as they watched the sun set upon the hills.
In ages past, when time was young, 'neath heaven's light the battle sprung. From outer dark the demons cried, yet chaos washed with fate allied. Oh, sing of Arthur brave and bold, the blade of light, the tale retold. From shadows deep, a hero's rise. In destiny's weave, the truth shall lie. A warrior forged a sword of grace to halt the doom that men must face. But greed transformed the boy to beast, a tyrant's reign, the world's great feast. Oh, sing of Arthur brave and bold, the blade of light, the tale retold. From shadows deep, a hero's rise. In destiny's weave, the truth shall lie. Merilyn came, a wizard wise, with secrets dark and ancient ties. He saw in Arthur fate's sweet thread, a chance to rise where tyrants tread. Oh, sing of Arthur brave and bold, the blade of light, the tale retold. From shadows deep, a hero's rise. In destiny's weave, the truth shall lie. Through forests deep and waters clear, with Gadriel's grace they faced their fear. The sword of spirits, sealed in stone, awaits the heart that claims its throne. Oh, sing of Arthur brave and bold, the blade of light, the tale retold. From shadows deep, a hero's rise. In destiny's weave, the truth shall lie. But dark winds stir, the shadows loom, the dark one waits, a herald of doom. Yet courage shines and hope ignites, a warrior stands gainst endless night. Oh, sing of Arthur brave and bold, the blade of light, the tale retold. From shadows deep, a hero's rise. In destiny's weave, the truth shall lie. So gather round, ye kindred souls, and heed the tale the minstrel tolls. For in the light and in the dark, a hero's journey leaves its mark. Oh, sing of Arthur brave and bold, the blade of light, the tale retold. From shadows deep, a hero's rise. In destiny's weave, the truth shall lie.